and welcome back to another video. So today I am going to be talking about my September wrap up, all of the books that I read this month. I had an okay reading month. I did not read nearly as much as I read last month, but this month was an extremely busy month for me. I wasn't able to film my normal reading vlog last weekend because I was putting on a gala for a nonprofit. It's been a super busy month. So the fact that I was able to read 8 books is pretty good. Only have copies of a couple of these. A lot of these were ones that I read that I don't have copies of, that I got from the library or that kind of thing. So the first book that I read was A Darker Shade of Magic. A Darker Shade of Magic, to me, was essentially a Lord of the Rings-esque plot. You have 2 people who have a thing that came from a place that they need to get the thing back to that place before it causes chaos and wreaks havoc on their world. That's the plot. I didn't enjoy this book as much as other people enjoyed it, and I think it has to do with the audiobook. I listened to it versus reading it, and I don't think I like the audiobook narration very much. Essentially, this story follows Kel, our main character. In this world, there's different versions of London, which have varying degrees of magic. There's Grey London. I think it's been a month since I read this. Grey London doesn't have any magic, just a regular old, kind of like our world, gray. There's Red London, which does have magic. Everybody has magic. It's great. It's there for everybody to use. There is White London, where there is magic, but it is very strictly controlled by one person, the king, I think. And then there's Black London, and Black London supposedly doesn't exist anymore. So Kel is, doodly-doing around town and finds something that belongs in Black London and has to get it back to Black London. He ends up meeting Lila, and Lila is from Grey London, where there's no magic, and she's a thief. They run into each other and form an unlikely alliance. The things that I love in books. Anyways, so I enjoyed A Darker Shade of Magic. I am going to read the next book. I'm waiting for my copy from the library. But this series has such a big fan base. I just don't think I enjoyed it quite as much as everybody else did. It was fine. I liked it. I liked the character dynamic between Lila and Kel. I am going to read the next book, but if the next book does not turn out, then I probably won't continue. The next book that I read was Isle of the Gods. Isle of the Gods is a YA. And honestly, I don't really think I could tell you much about what it's about. I read it for a reading vlog. It was fine. It was fine. I don't have anything good to say about it. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think the main character's name was Sully, or Sully. And she has to get a prince to an island where there's gods imprisoned, or shrines for gods. Things go wrong. It's on a boat. Yeah, it was fine. I don't think I'm going to continue the series. It wasn't a bad read. It wasn't a great read. It was just a middle of the road read. And sometimes that happens. The next book that I read was The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is book 2 in the Cruel Prince series. I loved this up until 70%. I was like, okay, this is fine. It's kind of slow. At about 70%, the last 30% of the book, it really picked up. Things went wild, and this time Carden pulled one over on Jude. Carden got her, okay? And I can't wait to see how she gets him back. I love the character dynamic. These two love each other, and I am so into that. I'm so into it. And it's almost at the point where, honestly, I think that when they get together, inevitably in the 3rd book, I'm going to be disappointed because I want more hate-love romance. This was really good. This is a completed series. The books are pretty inexpensive, $12.99, and I was able to get the first one half off. So sometimes they do the buy one get one half off for these. This is good. This is another YA, but I really enjoyed it. A lot of court politics, a lot of characters. The next book that I read, The Fractured Dark by Megan E. O'Keefe. I had an arc for this book. I read an arc of the first one earlier this year. This was a very good follow-up to the first book, but like I've said in other videos, I didn't enjoy this one as much as I enjoyed the first one. It was really good. Things were happening. The plot was plotting. So many things happened. The characters could not catch a break. This is a really great sci-fi. It's a really great sci-fi that is like smart and intelligent in the way that sci-fis are without making you feel dumb. Like I understood what was happening in this with all of the sci-fi, like the normal sci-fi jargon. This was great. I really love Tarquin. I really love Naira. I like their dynamic. Yeah. Megan E. O'Keefe knows what she's doing, and I am very excited to read more from this series and to read the Protectorate series that she has written as well. So this was very good. I enjoyed this. I think I gave this like a 4.5. I think I gave the Wicked King a 4.5. I want to say I gave Isle of the Gods a 3, and Gathering of Shadows I gave it a 4. If you wanted to know my star ratings that I have on my spreadsheet, because I have a spreadsheet of all the books that I've read. Anyways, The Fractured Dark was very good. If you like sci-fis, if you like enemies to lovers, this is good. A lot of characters, a lot of politics, but like politics that are not court politics. It's more like kind of our world politics. Yeah, this is a really great book. Next, I read The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This is the third book in the Arc of a Scythe series. This was phenomenal. I cried at the end of this. I had no idea what was going to happen the entire book, but it ended exactly the way it should have. This was spectacular. Neal Shusterman knows how to craft a story. This was amazing. I really enjoyed this series. This series is a YA series. I read a lot of YAs this month, and it was so good. It was so good. The characters were amazing. There were so many things happening, so many like small details that he used to like wrap up large plot points. This was great. This was a really good book. I am very sad that I'm done reading it. I might read it again. TBD. Next, I read The Return by Rachel Harrison. I do not have a copy of this. The Return follows a group of 4 friends. One of the 4 friends mysteriously goes missing for 2 years and then suddenly reappears again, only things are different. She is different. And it was creepy. It was weird. It was a really great like story of friendship and how like the dynamics between their friendship. I think that there was some sort of feminist moral like there usually is with a Rachel Harrison book. I did not catch up. I did not pick up on what that was. I was just enjoying the story for the vibes, but it was really great and I really enjoyed that one. It was a good palate cleanser in between big book series, starting a new series, etc. I really like Rachel Harrison's writing a lot. Next, and possibly my favorite read of the month, I read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries. Now, this was so good. Okay, this got a lot of hype online. It's worth the hype. Okay, this was awesome. It's about Emily Wilde, who is a researcher. It's sort of like Victorian feeling-esque, Victorian era feeling-esque, set in our world, but kind of not really in our world because there's fairies. And it's not like the hot fairies, like ACOTAR fairies, it's creepy fairies. And ones that have like big black eyes, they're like little and they are weird. Anyways, so Emily Wilde is a researcher. She is either, I think she's finishing her doctorate, something like that, at Cambridge University. And she has an academic rival named Wendell Brambleby. Okay, first of all, the name Wendell Brambleby, you know he's hot, all right? She is on her final sort of expedition to research fairies for her encyclopedia. She goes away. When she gets there, she's there for a couple of days. She gets a letter from old Wendell. And Wendell says, I'm coming up there to help you, whether you like it or not. And she's like, great, I hate Wendell. He's going to steal my work. Turns out Wendell is in love with her, and he's been in love with her forever. And she doesn't know it, and she hates him. And I think this is my new favorite, like, relationship dynamic. I love that. He's been in love with her forever. She hates him. She, like, absolutely hates him. They pick on each other. They tease each other. It's accurate teasing, okay? But not mean teasing. And it was hilarious. Some of the things that the characters said in this book made me laugh out loud. I laughed out loud. I oohed and awed. I was screaming, crying, kicking my feet, giggling. This was amazing. Now, it was a little chaotic, okay? It was a little bit like how sometimes with fairy stuff, it can be kind of about how the fae like to have archetypes. They like to follow a story, and if the story doesn't work out, it won't make sense. If you're not into that, you might not be into this book, where things are a little bit chaotic, things are a little bit convenient, but it's for a purpose. You might not like this. I am very much into that, and that is sort of how the library, the Invisible Library series, it's sort of the same, where it's a little bit chaos. Winter's Promise, a little bit chaos, but I'm into it. This was so good. I have an arc of the second book in the series, and I cannot wait to read the second book in the series. So this was the standout book for me this month. I loved this. This was so good. And finally, the last book that I read. Alexa, stop. She was trying to play Taylor Swift for me. The last book that I read was The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. I don't think I've said... Oh, this one. I didn't say the author for this. Heather Fawcett is the author for this one. It's kind of a funny last name. So the last book that I read was called The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. I decided to read that one because somebody said that it has the same, like, Hunger Games-esque trope where there's like a trial that our character has to go through. I liked this one. It was a little weird. Weird as in like the world building was weird, like the way the characters are set up was a little strange. It's a YA. There was a moody MMC. Our, very tough FMC is in love with the MMC. It was very stereotypical. It was predictable. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the predictability. I don't know if I'll read the next book. I don't even know if the next book is out. It was good. I liked it. But, it was fine. It did not compare to this, although there's no chance that any book that I read after this one would be as good as this one. So it kind of like didn't have a chance at being good. But yeah, it was a book and I liked it. And it was just fine. It was predictable. It was a YA, so it had all of those, kind of typical YA things. The Luminaries follows Winnie, who has been, it's set in our world, like there's cars and things, in Hemlock Falls in our world, and it's on, like, it borders this magical forest where at night monsters show up, and the people who live near that forest are all part of these clans that are named after the different days of the weeks. And Winnie has been ousted from her clan because her father was a Diana, who was some kind of witch working against the group. I don't really understand all of that. So she's been ousted. She enters in this trial to become a luminary, which is basically a monster hunter, so that she can regain entry to her clan for her family. It was fine. It was fine. That's all I have to say about it. I liked it. I might read the next one. I might not. I got a lot of stuff to read, so who knows. Anywho, that's what I read this month. I still have arcs that I need to read. I have a book from the library that I'm working on, and I've got friends coming over this week, so I'm going to do something a little bit different for the reading vlog. But other than that, thanks for watching, and read this book. This one was really good. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!